and in our church body, but it is just such an honor to really know Dr. Suh. He is a retired professor from the University of Hawaii Medical School. He currently has a father-son medical practice with Tim's older brother, Phil. And he is Matthew and Sarah's grandfather. I mean, if you've seen Matthew and Sarah, they are so cute, and they have a lot to thank for their grandfather for that. And he happens to be visiting family. He happens to be coming into town on his way to a conference. So we are very honored to have his presence here. So please join me in a warm welcome for Dr. Semo Suh.
Thank you, Pastor Raymond. And since Tim had been with you here, I feel like I just came here in a family service. And I'm very grateful for this chance to share with you about my miracle story last Easter. I have been a Christian for a long time. But to be shameful myself, I was kind of nominal Sunday Christian. One foot in the church, but the other foot was in the world. Actually, in my case, that the other part was more dominant part. Everything what I did seemed like coming out of my own. I tried to solve all my personal or professional problems out of the knowledge what I have learned from what I learned in my education and experiences. And as a physician, when I take care of a diseased patient, anytime problem arises, of course, I have to solve that with my knowledge, my own knowledge of medical science. And that was a way. And if somebody talk about a miracle, I felt always like it was something, not realistic. And something, it occurs in the Bible, but not in a real life. And that was particularly so when I, hear somebody talk about a miracle healing. I would nod my head externally, but deep inside, I always had a skeptical attitude. This is what I did not believe the miraculous power of God at all. That basically I had unbelief there. But the testimony I'm going to share with you, God was so kind. He really shook me and showed me how long my stubborn attitude was. Just listen what happened. It was April 23rd last year. We are coming back from the month-long trip to Southeast Asia. All those China and Hong Kong and Thailand, and Singapore, and hot areas. Okay, and we are sort of tired, but physically I was okay. And it was on our last leg of flight from Incheon to Honolulu. And it's almost about toward the end of the Honolulu, I think. It's about 1 hour left. I went to the restroom and put close the door and the lights on, okay? And all of a sudden, I had a just flaring of the light, as if seeing the firecracker. Then everything turned black. I couldn't see anything. I became totally blind. I stumbled and come out and groped around and find an empty seat, and I just lie down. And by that time, my consciousness was healthy too. So I just was lying down, and I don't know, I lost consciousness. My mom, she come back and found out I was unconscious. She called by the seat phone down to Honolulu and asked my son with the physician what to do. So he made arrangement, all the medical part of emergency arrangement, and he asked his mom to call, they asked the stewardess to make arrangement for the ambulance. And so ambulance was waiting when we arrived, and they picked up at the airport and rushed to the Queens Medical Center, which is one of the large medical centers in Honolulu. And they did a whole series of tests and find out, first of all, that my blindness was due to the stroke. The occipital part of my head, the back part of my head, had a big spot by MRI. And they also find the blood tests and EKGs and found I had a heart attack. Blood tests showed that I had a acute kidney shutdown. And I had blood pressure high, and blood sugar went up to 850. Some of you may have diabetes, but 850 is a really big number. And I had a pancreas problem, liver problem. I had a total organ failures. And so they couldn't do much. There's a conflict to do the stuff, take care of a heart attack or a stroke. There are methods to do it, but they have to put a dye in. With my kidney conditions, they couldn't do it. They have to do the cleaning of my blood, but dialysis needs a strong heart to work with. I couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. So, at my age of 80, doctors frankly told my son and the rest of the family that we can't do anything. So there is a very little hope. So only thing they could do that, let's watch him at the cardiac intensive care unit. So I was put up to the cardiac intensive care unit. Of course, I was not conscious of all these things. My consciousness was in and out. Only thing I remember was I had a severe excruciating pain of all body. That's from the muscle cramp due to the electrolyte disturbance and dehydration. And I screamed the whole night, I think. Then, toward the daybreak, something strange happened. In front of my blind eyes, I saw two white figures, the faces. Initially, I thought maybe nurses came, but it was not. They were angels. And they whispered to my ears, "It is a new day." So I wanted to see more clearly, to make up these fears. I opened my eyes, blind eyes. Then, in front of me, there was a large red panel. And on that, two big Chinese characters, God, Paris. Out of curiosity, I was looking around myself. I was lying in a bed, okay, soft, very soft, comfortable bed, covered by white linen, you know. And I realized by that time, such excruciating pain had all gone too. I had no pain. I was lying down, pain-free, comfortable and peaceful in front of that God Palace door. I was really felt like I was lying down in heaven. And sometime later, a nurse came in and she tried to check the vital signs. And she thrust her fingers in front of me and said, "Dr. So, can you see my fingers?" "How many?" I said, "2." "Oh," she said, I could see it, okay. Pointed to the clock on the wall and, "What time it is?" So I said, 7:46. I could see it clearly. Wow, she was excited. I could see all of a sudden, okay. And so, as she pulled the curtain open, bright sunray came in to my face and caressed my face. And that's time she asked me what day it is to check my memory. I said, April 24, Easter. I said it casually, but when that bright, ray of sun caressed my face, and this Easter, that word really awakened me spiritually. That's right. This is the Easter morning. What happened on Easter? Jesus Christ, who was crucified on the cross, was resurrected some 2,000 years ago. Okay? Who did that? It was God. And that same power of God is here. And He gave me a new vision from blindness. And new life from that unconsciousness, almost near-death situation, when doctors, they did their best, but they give up. And when they said, there's a very little hope to survive for me. So, what's happened? Our God, who is loving and gracious, He saved me, and He showed me personally it is His power. He can make me, open my eyes. He can make me survive when you doctors cannot do it. And He showed me this miracle. only that, but he also showed me, because of my stubborn attitude, I think. He showed me the vision. I never saw the vision before. Angels, and that black, the 2 letters on the red big door, God Palace. So I was, humble at that point. God, I'm sorry for all my errors. I thought I could do everything with my own, but it is not. It's God. How? And He can do it. He can do miracle. Okay. I want to really share this story with all of you this morning because many times, God are with us, but we are neglecting His presence and His miracle. When I go back my own life too, now I am almost 82. I went through many, many situations. During the Korean War, I was caught by North Korean soldiers and at a gunpoint. But miraculously, God changed their mind and I was saved from that. But that's again, at that time I thought it was just a pure love, but was it just a pure love? I had 2 cancers. With the kidney cancers and prostate cancers. Particularly with kidney cancer, it was not treatable condition with chemo. All other patients I was taking care of, they all died, but I'm surviving here. Within my power. But I have been neglecting God's power all this time. Yet He's always with us, around us, to help us. Just look at this. I hope you have this handout sheet. This famous, Michelangelo's painting on the Sistine Chapel. God is extending His hand to you. Just hold that, touch that. Then you get all the power and the wisdom to you. And when you have that power, wisdom, you can take care of any problem. We have a lot of problems, don't we? Worldly problems and hardship, all the adversities in our life. He can help you. He has power. And not only that, He will give you the peace of mind, eternal peace of mind. So please accept His unmerited favor extending all the time around us. That's my message